there.
Of all of the Wisconsin press that I read this week, I thought the most illuminating sentence, or at least the one that made me laugh out loud, was when the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel said that Donald Trump's unfavorable ratings in the state of Wisconsin appeared to be misprints. And he was talking about his having a 77% unfavorable rating with women, 78% unfavorable rating
slightly above
with
his
college
national
graduates.
rating of 72.
It's stunning. So for him to be tight with women with Cruz is a surprise.
That is the question for the general election. If he gets there, his unfavorables are just absurdly high. I mean, they are misprints. They can't possibly be that high, yet they are. You know, the Republicans could be looking at some sort of Titanic situation.
Well, I was just going to say, there's a poll today in Mississippi, Gene. Trump-Clinton 3-point race. Okay, Utah, Clinton ahead. I think it was something like 4-point race against Trump. There is only one explanation. It is Republican women. Okay, that is what is sitting there. This is, you can call it whatever you want, Achilles heel, whatever, use your metaphor. This is the issue, and it is why I think, look, the Republican Party has the ability to stop him, and I think that is why you now see an RNC that is putting themselves in a position to do it.
And
has decided they do not have the ability to stop him.
They do.
They do not.
He does not have the 1237. They do. It's painful. I'm not saying it's easy to do, but if they want to do it, because they do, I've talked to plenty, and you know this, Nicole, they fear what a Trump isn't just a 4-year problem for them. A Trump nomination stains the party for a generation.
But you're saying
with a group of
their power to stop him is at the Rules Committee, the Credentials Committee.
They have it.
However,
it's whether they're willing to use it.
In a state where they don't like Donald Trump. You saw that number that Kornacki gave us earlier. 56% said give it to the candidate who has the most delegates if nobody gets a majority. 56%
right tonight in
Wisconsin, where they don't even like Trump.
Well, by the way, our entire political, can I just say, I want to remind people of this. We don't have direct elections of anybody for president. Not for the nomination.
They're nominated
by the way,
convention.
Not for the presidency itself either. Delegates at Electoral College. So, yes, you know, the public, look, you're always going to get a public opinion rating on that. To me, 56% isn't a lot. That's actually
Nicole, jump in.
So I would say that because we're an automatic one person, one vote.
The RNC does not have the power to take this from Trump. What is possible is that at the convention a case can be made for someone other than Trump, and it's an important distinction because you've talked about pitchforks before. If the RNC's message is that we as a national party can stop Trump, it will fail before it opens the door on its first date.
So what does that talk to me?
So what's interesting, I talked to Republican smart people who are not involved in any of these campaigns, who there are two things being discussed. I know we'll get to all of them. One of them is this idea that they'd rather lose with Cruz, that they'd rather have someone who they're proud of, who they're not embarrassed of.
Good bumper sticker.
It's a shocking bumper. It makes me sweat just saying it on live TV. I might break Twitter with that. But that is one depressing line of thinking. And the other is that they make a case for somebody else. I have to tell you, the uproar from all the people who think that they do live in a democracy, and that in said democracy they have cast votes for Trump, is unimaginable to me.
We have given voters the impression that they get to pick the nomination. Now, that may not be true, but we have told a lot of people that that's the case.
And there's no way they come around.
So that anger that you're describing, though, is that any better if they pick Cruz than it is if they pick somebody who's not running?
I don't think so. I mean, I think Cruz actually has more delegates.
Cruz can't win either, right? So Cruz would have to be picked party.
I mean, I think they think that Cruz at least has a set of views on policies that might make some...
But he's still an anti-small d Democratic choice.
Let's remember here, Cruz is picking his voters.
Correct.
Okay, that's the thing about this why I think Donald Trump is not picking, meaning the delegates. Ted Cruz is making sure he knows who every one of these people are. He's basically going to turn the Republican nominating contest is going to become another version of the Iowa caucuses, right? Where it is really about organization, even more backroom.
We have cameras in the Iowa caucuses.
Well, we'll have, no, I think in this one they'll have cameras on themselves. The delegates will periscope all this for us. So I think there's truth. But he is picking his own voters in the same way that you do this for a precinct captain with a caucus. We know the other two aren't.
The issue, though, that Nicole is talking about, which is, and that Gene is talking about as well, which is that we have given people, as a country and as a polity, we have come to believe that there's a small d democratic process at work here, which is not at work.
We're a republic, not a democracy. I love to remind people.
Right. But because of that impression and because of the worry that there could be a serious harm to the country in terms of our civic self-conception if it turns out that we are going to pick a nominee who did not win the most votes. Is it any better in terms of that potential damage to us as a country? Is it any better to pick Ted Cruz than it is to pick somebody else who's outside the process? Because Ted Cruz can't get there without...
But who's voted? You know, look, I'm going to now rail against caucuses, and normally I kind of like them. I don't hate them the way other people hate them too much. But are we really going to say that the most people did pick Trump? We don't know that. We haven't held primaries.
Well, in the system that
40
exists.
states. Well, I understand that, but my point is that...
We have a system.
Well, we have a system, but
we're just going to disregard it?
I mean,
no, it's not being disregarded. It is picking the people that make the ultimate decision. Okay? It is, we are voting for people who vote.
Except in Louisiana. Where voters went out, for example, Louisiana, right? Voters went out, decided who they wanted to pick as the Republican nominee. Who they wanted was Donald Trump. Now, there's another process after that where the delegates are all going to be.
Well, that's Trump's problem for not understanding how that system works.
Well, not really, because the system, the whole central animating purpose of his candidacy is running against a rigged system. So this feels more rigged than anything that's happening in Washington. Let me ask you a question. Is Ted Cruz better? He's as polarizing as Trump. So,
in the end,
no, not to the whole.
Nicole gets the last word in this segment. Glad we decided all of that.